in school still or not, there's nothing wrong with picking up a good book.
No, there's not. And today, financial planner Rob Wilson has a couple of good reads to help you with your personal finance. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. And first thing I want to say is I'm honored that I could be here on such a big anniversary for you guys. So thanks for having me.
It's nice. There still might be some cake left over there. You might have to come in and have a piece.
And believe me, I will find it before I get out of here.
Okay.
And what are these reads that you're talking about? A couple of good ones.
Yeah, I think, it's back to school season. A lot of students are getting settled into their courses, but I think we shouldn't forget that it is good to maybe hit the books every now and then. And I don't, kind of like Dennis, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer this early in the morning, but USA Today just reported that median household income in the United States did fall 7% since the year 2000. I think that really highlights the need to be educated so that you can have a high-paying job. So I think we should all hit the books from time to time.
All right. Is there a particular one that you think that if you're going to start with one, hey, pick this one up, you got to read this one first before you do anything else?
Yeah, to get a little information on the ABCs of personal finance, which are really the building blocks of your financial life, there's a very good book called The Wealthy Barber. Now, I like this book because it talks about financial topics in a story form instead of how most boring financial books go, line by line, topic by topic. It really illustrates it in story form. 320-somethings get advice from a barber in their town who actually turns out to be a millionaire. And he talks about a lot of important things. One good point is the 10% solution, where he says save 10% of your income right off the top. He talks about wills and life insurance and how estate planning can save you and your loved ones a lot of future grief. He talks about home sweet home, and a good point here says that, hey, you know what? I know the American dream is to own a home, but renting is actually okay and can save you a lot of money over the long term. He talks about investment and income tax and points out that the biggest investment, or one of the biggest investments you can make, is actually paying down your credit card. Think about it. If you've got an 18% interest rate on your credit card and you pay that down, you've effectively, that's sort of an investment that gives you an 18% return. And he also talks about graduation. Once you've gotten out of school, have about a $3K emergency fund, and don't forget that your earning power is your best asset, and that's why you really need to pay attention to your education.
I like that. You've got one from Steve Jobs too, huh? A lot of news going on around him lately. Well,
you guys know how there was always that kid who sat in the front of the room and raised his hand at every question and used to annoy you a little bit. But I tell you what, in retrospect, you can learn a lot from those kids who sit at the head of the class. And so I wanted to point out Steve Jobs is a great example for all of us. There's a book called iCon about Steve Jobs, and it's about the greatest second act in the history of business. And so I think there are some very important points that we can take from this book. The first one being entrepreneurship. Let's not forget that Steve Jobs did not finish college. He had a great idea. He decided to pursue it, and I think it's a model if all of us have a great idea of what we can accomplish. There's also big points in here on how to learn from failure. He founded and created Apple, but was fired by its own board of directors in 1985. So I think you can learn from failure because he was actually rehired by the same company, and we see what he's been able to do with the iPad, the iPhone, the iMac, and really has created such a great company in America. It talks about how to reinvent yourself. Apple was a very different company from when he fired it to what we see today. He's got iTunes, they're in the music business, a lot of different business lines there. And I think it proves that you have to be forward thinking. A lot of other companies are trying to chase Apple. They came out with a touchscreen phone. Another company wants to come out with a touchscreen phone instead of thinking about what's next on the horizon.
Reading it and acting on it are two different things, so we'll try to do that too.
Yeah, you can't just read these things. You got to actually put these ideas in action.
All right, Rob, thanks so much.
Rob's with us with financial advice every Thursday morning here on Pittsburgh CW.